What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction and I share my life with you. My name is Nicole and I'm a person in recovery. My sobriety date is July 13th of 2015. If you guys don't mind, before we get into this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell. That way you will get notifications. I go live on Mondays and Fridays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and you are all welcome to come. So we're going to take it back to my roots. We're going to take it back old school, and I'm going to tell you guys a motherfucking story time. Okay, so I've told a lot of these stories before, but they are so deep down in the crevices of my channel that they're hard to find. And so I want to share with you guys the story of how I was in a coma for over a week. So this all started out, let me take you back. And so I was in active addiction from the time I was 17 years old to the time I was 32. I didn't get sober until 2015 in July. Well, this was probably about the latter part of 2010. I had just gotten released from prison. For those of you guys that don't know, I went to prison and I spent a year at RPF in Pine Bluff here in Arkansas. And if you guys want a story time on that, just comment down below and I'll give it to you. So, okay, I just gotten out of prison, and I paroled out to a halfway house here in Little Rock called Williamsburg. And I was living at Williamsburg. I was doing really well, you guys. I got a job working for Kroger. I was working in the deli. I mean, I was just doing the damn thing, you guys. I was staying sober. I actually was able to get 9 months clean. Well, I got 9 months sober. I was working really hard, and I stopped focusing on my sobriety, and I started putting my job before my sobriety. And I ended up relapsing. When I relapsed, you guys, I went out and I did not come back. I left the halfway house and I moved in with my friend Tara, and I just went on a bender for the next 5 years. For the next 5 years up here in Little Rock, I was getting high, trying to sober up, then getting high. But for the most part, from 2010 till 2015, I was in a full-fledged relapse. There was kind of like some times where I would get like a couple weeks sober, maybe even 30 days, but they were few and far between. I had made so many friends here in Little Rock, and I was still able to, somehow I was maintaining my job, you know. Well, I was working at Kroger and I was hanging out with all these folks, you guys, and I had been shooting methamphetamine. I was shooting meth, and I was shooting those blue roxycodone 30s. I used to get those things every single day. If I didn't have some when I woke up in the morning, I was calling my dealer and buying 3 by 8 a.m. And if I didn't have those Roxys, I couldn't go to work. I would be literally so sick. And so I pretty much had them all the time. If I didn't, I would make a way. I would find a way to get them. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, there was times where I struggled and maybe I didn't get one that day and I was fucking miserable the whole time at work, so I'd take a bunch of benzos or do some meth. But that's what I would always do. I would always do those Roxys every single day. Well, I was at work and somebody came up there and had some meth. I bought some meth from them, and so I shot some meth while I was at work, and then went to my friend Tara's house and did some with her after work. Well, I don't know what happened, you guys, but I started like really bad hallucinating. I shot my last shot of meth, and I just got really hot. I started like feeling really paranoid, and I started seeing all these pills all over her floor. I swear to you guys, like yesterday, I could see all these blue little Roxy 30s all over her floor. So I got on my hands and knees and I started trying to find these little Roxy 30s, you know? And of course, you know, there was none there, but I was picking up all this stuff and I was putting it in my spoon and then mixed it up and shot it up. Whatever it was, I do not know what it was. It could have been cat litter. It could have been fuzz. It could have been anything. And after I did that shot of God knows what it was, I went off the rails. I went off the rails Tara was trying to get me to calm down. She put me in the car and she was like, listen, we'll go to the mall and we'll just relax. You're going to be fine. We're going to get you through this. And so we went to the mall, and that was the worst idea we could have ever done, because when we got to the mall, I just got so scared and so paranoid. But I continued. I walked through the mall with her, and then we went and got in her car and we came back home. The minute we got back home, she was sitting down, and what I thought she was watching the news. But it wasn't the news, you guys. But I thought that we were on the news and that the police were above our house in a fucking helicopter, right? I am like full-fledged believing this, you guys. Like, that's what's happening. In my eyes, the police are coming. They are surrounding us. There's a SWAT team outside. I'm looking out the windows, all this stuff, right? Well, for some reason, I thought, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna walk outside, and I'm gonna walk outside and be like, here I am. Come and get me. Come and get me. You can't do nothing to me now, right? So I walked outside, yelling and screaming, and realized that there was nobody out there. And so then I just went walking. I walked no farther than the next door neighbor right across the street, and she called 911 because I was so fucked up. When she called 911, the police came, and I was, telling them what was going on, and I wasn't making sense, so they ended up calling an ambulance. And the ambulance came and got me and took me to St. Vincent's Hospital here in Little Rock. They hooked me up to all these things, and they were trying to make sure that I was okay, but I was so combative. I was pissed. I did not want to be there. I was like, dude, fuck this shit. You know what I mean? It ended up getting late. And so I ended up leaving AMA and walking down the fucking road in the middle of the night. Okay. I was walking down the road, middle of the night, left my car at, Tara's house. My keys were with me, and she was like, do you want me to come get you? And I was like, no, fuck you. You wouldn't help me when I needed you to help me. And I'm still hallucinating. I'm walking down the Markham Avenue, and I'm looking over, and there's people that I swear to God, they're trying to proposition me for sex. And so I got this stick, and I'm like, I ain't a prostitute. I'm like trying to beat these people off me, right? But there's nobody there. It's like midnight. Okay, guys? So I called my old sponsor, Robin, and I said, hey, can you come get me? Like, I'm having a mental breakdown. And so her and her boyfriend went and got my car, and then came and got me and took me back to their house so I could stay the night. Well, she lived in Southwest Little Rock, right by some more of my friends that I would get high with. And so the next morning, I think I probably laid down but didn't sleep. I woke up. I went to work and tried to work at my job, but I was hallucinating so badly while I was making 100-count chicken for Kroger that my boss was like, listen, just get out of here because, dude, they're going to know you're high, and I don't want you to get fired. And so he covered for me, and I left. And so I ended up going to my friend Gerald's house, where it was just like a straight up shooting range. Like, we would just sit in his bedroom and shoot dope all night long. So I got to their house, and I was skedaddled, right? I was still skitzed out real bad. And so I did a couple Roxys and a couple Xanaxes, and I was just trying to chill out and relax. And I ended up getting stuck. I ended up getting stuck in his recliner in his bedroom for about 6 hours, staring at the vent in the ceiling. This is a trailer. I could have sworn that Cy from Duck Dynasty was sticking his head out of that damn vent, and that he was taunting me and telling me that he was going to catapult me out of the trailer. He was going to pull this lever, and the whole recliner was going to go like that, and I was going to go flying through the air, right? Not happening. Well, by this time, my friends that I was getting fucked up with were getting pretty fucking annoyed by me, and I was just out of control. And so Gerald gave me a Seroquel. And let me tell you this, friends, when he gave me that Seroquel, I thought it was going to help me go to sleep. I thought that I was going to be able to go lay down and be okay. Oh no, honey. It just made it even worse. It made the hallucinations get even wilder. So he says, go lay down. And so I go lay down with the two gay guys that he lived with. And I'm in the middle of these two gay guys. They're trying to help me go to sleep. And I'm just literally freaking out. I could not fall asleep. So at about 3 a.m., I got up. And I started walking down the street in Southwest Little Rock. Now, we were in a trailer park, and so I started walking up to different people's trailers and just being on their property. I walked up to this one person's trailer, and I started sweeping her trailer because I was hallucinating that weed brownies were everywhere, all over her trailer. There was just weed everywhere. So I was trying to get it all off before the police came. When that happened, the lady woke up and she called 911. And that's when the police came for a second time. Okay. Now the police came and they found me outside just like screaming and yelling and being really erratic. And when they came, I thought they pulled their guns on me. So I was like ducking and I was weaving and I was just really freaking out, you guys. But they were there trying to help me. They got my phone and they called my mom, and my mom was like, please take her to the emergency room, like please. And so they called an ambulance. This is all within 72 hours, okay, 48 hours. I've already had 2 ambulance rides, okay, had 2 cop calls, 2 times walking out, and so they call the ambulance and I get in with the ambulance, and I swear to God, you guys, all I could think was that the ambulance was trying to shoot me up with cocaine. So I was like flailing around. I was so scared. The only way I can explain to you these hallucinations, you guys, is that it was so real. It's so real that even when I remember it today and I'm telling you the story, like I think back to that time and I think, was it fake? You know what I mean? Because that's how real these hallucinations were. And that's how fearful, full of fear. I was so afraid for my life that I was. They ended up taking me to the hospital, and this is where shit went bad. So, you know, I had been on this run for a good 3-4 days now, and I'm coming to the end where I just have so many substances in my body, you guys. Now I have shot oxy, I have shot up meth, I have shot up some dirt shit off the ground. I have been taking copious amounts of Xanax, and then I topped it off with some Seroquel. All right, so I am I'm just messed up. So they put me in my own room, and they're trying to get a UA from me. That's what I remember last, is they were trying to get a urine sample from me. And I was so out of it that I couldn't even do what they wanted me to do because I didn't know what they were doing. You know what I mean? I was hallucinating so badly that I was seeing people from my job outside of the hospital room. I thought Miss Frida and Miss Marva were standing outside the door of the emergency room, and they were blowing crack smoke under the door to me. I swear to you, I saw everybody I worked with at Kroger, Miss Brewer, they were all there. Well, then the doctor came in and they gave me a shot of Thorazine and a shot of Halidol. And that should have knocked me out, but I was not going out. And the doctor came back in after about 20 minutes and was like, what did you do? Did you do bath salts? They kept asking me, did you do bath salts? Did you do bath salts? And I was like, no, I did not do bath salts, you know? And so they gave me a second round of that Thorazine and Halidol. Well, when they did that, you guys, it caused my internal organs to start shutting down. And I went into a medication-induced coma. So that happened, and then I just lost touch with reality. Right before I lost complete touch, though, I was laying in the bed, and I could see these frogs all over the walls of the emergency room. Those bright green ones, the red ones, the yellow ones, the orange ones. And I was thinking, I can go lick their backs and get and trip acid. It's like all these thoughts, and there's colors, and I was just like seeing all these things, and then all of a sudden everything just went black, completely black, and I laid there for 7 days. I actually had my mom on my TikTok recently, and she told me that, you know, they came up there and sat with me the whole time, and they didn't know if I was going to make it, if I was going to come out of it, because I had just really, my organs were shutting down. My internal organs were shutting down. And so my mom sat with me there the whole time, and then I woke up. And when I woke up, you guys, she looked at me and she said, do you know how long you've been here? And I said, no. And she said, you've been in a coma, Nicole, for 7 days. And when she said that to me, all I could think about was how I needed to get out of that fucking hospital room so I could go get my car and I could go get high. And that is how powerful the disease of addiction is. Yeah. I came to and I got out, and my mom took me to get my car, and I went and I moved in with my old sponsor, Robin, and she was going to try it. try and help me to stay sober and get clean, but I didn't get sober and I didn't get clean and I didn't do anything but stay getting high right after I got out of the hospital. And so, yeah, that's the story of how I went into a coma. If you guys have any questions or you want me to make another story time, please comment down below and tell me what you want to hear.